The moment your hand brushed mine, I felt something shift inside me, like the universe was realigning its stars to tell me you were the one my soul had been waiting for all this time. When you touched my heart, it wasn't just a feeling. It was like every piece of my life suddenly made sense, as if I had been living in the dark until you brought light into my world. Your presence in my life was like a soft whisper at first, but when you touched my heart, it became a thunderous realization that you are the one my soul has always longed for. I had always believed in love, but when you touched my heart, it felt like the stories I heard growing up couldn't compare to the way you made me feel whole for the first time. When you touched my heart, it wasn't just love. It was a revelation that my life had been leading me to this very moment, to you, to us. In that brief second when you touched my heart, time stood still. It was as if the world paused to acknowledge that you were the missing piece I had been searching for. I thought love was something that would grow over time, but when you touched my heart, I knew instantly that you were the one I wanted to spend forever with. When you touched my heart, it wasn't just a moment. It was a shift, a new chapter where I could see a future filled with your laughter, your kindness, and your love. The day you touched my heart was the day I realized that love isn't something you find. It's something that finds you when you're least expecting it. And for me, that love was you. When your soul touched mine, it felt like coming home. I knew from that moment on, you were the one, and everything before you was just preparation for this love. Every love story I had ever heard seemed distant and pale compared to the vivid, overwhelming feeling that washed over me when you touched my heart. I knew then you were my forever. When you touched my heart, it was like unlocking a door I didn't even know existed. Behind that door was the life I had always dreamed of, one where you were at the center of it all. There was a moment when our eyes met, and when you touched my heart, it was as though my soul whispered to me, "This is the one you've been waiting for." It wasn't just a touch, it was the recognition of something deeper, a bond that has existed long before we even met. When you touched my heart, I knew we were destined. When you touched my heart, it was like a gentle breeze awakening every corner of my being, making me realize that my life wasn't complete until I found you. I never believed in fate until the day you touched my heart. In that instant, I understood that our paths were always meant to cross, and my heart was always meant to belong to you. Your touch wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual. It reached the deepest parts of me, and from that moment, I knew I couldn't imagine a life without you in it. When you touched my heart, it wasn't just a moment of affection, it was a moment of clarity where I realized that I had finally found my person, the one who truly understands me. I was going through life thinking I knew what love was, but the day you touched my heart, it all changed. It was like discovering a new world, a world I never want to leave. When your hand touched my heart, it felt like the universe was confirming what I had always hoped for. That true love wasn't just a dream, and you were the embodiment of that reality. In a crowded world full of distractions, your touch grounded me, reminded me that love doesn't have to be searched for. It arrives when we're open to feeling it, and I felt it the moment you touched my heart. When you touched my heart, it was like you unlocked a part of me I had kept hidden for so long. Now, all I want is to let you in and build a life around this love. I knew love existed, but when you touched my heart, I understood its power, its ability to change everything, to make life brighter, deeper, more meaningful. You didn't just touch my heart, you awakened it, showing me that love can be soft and tender, yet so powerful that it changes the course of your life forever. I used to think I was whole, but when you touched my heart, I realized that love adds another layer of completeness, a depth I never knew existed until I found you. The moment you touched my heart, it wasn't just a fleeting feeling, it was the moment my soul found its match, and I knew then that I never wanted it to let go of this love. Your touch wasn't just a connection, it was a promise, a silent vow that we are meant for something greater than we ever imagined. And I knew you were the one for me. When you touched my heart, I felt a sense of peace I had never known before. It was as if my heart recognized yours and whispered, "Finally, we've found each other." In that moment, when you touched my heart, it was like the world faded away, and all that was left was you and me, two souls that had finally found their way home. The day you touched my heart was the day I stopped searching, because I knew I had found the one person who could love me in all the ways I had only dreamed of. When you touched my heart, it was as if the stars aligned, confirming that every moment in my life had been leading me to you. Your touch wasn't just an expression of affection, it was a declaration of something greater, a connection that goes beyond words, beyond time, beyond anything I've ever known. When you touched my heart, I felt an unspoken understanding between us, as if we had known each other in another life, and our souls were simply reconnecting in this one. I had no idea how empty my life was until you touched my heart. In that moment, I realized you were the piece I had been missing all along. When you touched my heart, it wasn't just a spark. It was an explosion of emotions I didn't even know I was capable of feeling. You opened up a part of me that was waiting just for you. In the moment you touched my heart, I knew you weren't just another person passing through my life. You were the person my heart had been waiting for all along. When your hand touched my heart, it was like everything I had been searching for finally clicked into place. You were the answer I didn't even know I needed. The second you touched my heart, I felt a connection that transcended everything else in the world. It was in that moment I knew, without a doubt, you were the one for me. When you touched my heart, it was more than just an intimate moment. It was a profound realization that my future was no longer mine alone, but something we would share together. The moment you touched my heart, I felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, knowing that I had found someone who could see me, understand me, and love me as deeply as I love you. Your touch was the moment my heart had been waiting for all my life, a sign that true love is not just a dream, but a reality that I'm lucky enough to share with you. When you touched my heart, it felt like the world shifted around us, leaving only the two of us standing in a space where nothing mattered but the love we were building. I had always imagined what love would feel like, but when you touched my heart, I realized that love is not something you imagine. It's something you feel deeply, undeniably, and unconditionally. When you touched my heart, I wasn't just falling in love. I was awakening to a connection that felt like it had been written in the stars long before we even met. Your touch wasn't just a fleeting moment of affection. It was the start of something beautiful, something eternal, and I knew right then that you were the one my heart had been waiting for. When you touched my heart, I knew my life had changed forever. It was like discovering a part of myself that had always been missing, and now that I've found it, I never want to let go. In that brief second when you touched my heart, I felt a wave of emotions so powerful it brought tears to my eyes. It was in that moment I knew, without a doubt, that you were my forever. When you touched my heart, it was as if every wall I had built around myself came crashing down, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly seen, truly loved. The day you touched my heart was the day I realized that love is not something you find, it's something that finds you. And for me, that love was you. And